The purpose of life is to get to know our Creator. That's what it's all about. To be able to have a close connection with Him, to be able to understand how He works and how He's trying to communicate with us in our lives. This is the tachlis. This is the reason why we were brought here. How do you do it? How do you experience God in your midst all the time? It's not so clear. There are a lot of people talking today about Emuna. It's in the merit of my Rebbe, Rabbi Shalom Arush. The concept, the idea of faith is spread all over the four corners of the world. There are books and lectures and all kinds of rabbis now that are lecturing about Emunah. Baruch Hashem, thank God, thank God. Rabbi Shalom Arush gets the credit for this, the lion's share of the credit, with his unbelievable books, the Garden of Emunah, the Garden of Gratitude, the Garden of Wisdom, the Garden of Knowledge, the whole Garden series. Books about how to pray, books about how to have a personal connection to the Rabbon Shalom, to the Master of the world. Today, it's very, very clear that we need a skill-based approach to be able to do this. It's a big job. Even the sages of long ago said that you needed to be davik to the chachamim. That means that you need to attach yourself to great people in order to be able to really understand the hasagas of Hashem, to understand Hashem and the wisdom of Hashem. It's very hard to do it directly without attaching yourself and learning from a human being who has achieved closest to Hashem himself. This is why we have rabbis like Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, and all of the other great tzaddikim. They're here to teach us. They are the foundation that we have to plug into to be able to really understand Hashem and understand what it is that Hashem wants from us. We learn from tzaddikim, we learn from great people how to have our own personal relationship. Your relationship with Hashem is unique. Even a tzaddik, even a great rabbi, cannot have the relationship that you can have with Hashem. The kind of experience that you can have moment to moment, breath to breath, all day long with Hashem is unique to you, and nobody else will ever have the ability to relate to the Creator the way you can relate to Him. This is an incredibly powerful concept if you really think about it. It's sort of like your fingerprint. It's sort of like having spiritual fingerprints. No two people have the same fingerprints. No two people will ever have the same fingerprints. And it's the same in terms of your spirituality as well. We are kicking off a series of webinars, webinar workshops, starting this Sunday morning, Eastern Standard Time, from 9 in the morning to 11 a.m. We're going to and this is the only webinar workshop in the entire world on Emunah that is endorsed by Rabbi Shalom Arush. No, he does not put his stamp of approval on any other Emunah workshops, Emunah webinars, regardless of whether they use the same, regardless of how they, describe themselves and so on and so forth. This is the workshop that he approves of. It's online. It's available to everybody. You can take it from the comfort of your home, from the privacy and confidentiality of your home, and you can even sign up anonymously. I want to give you a phone number where you can reach us. And then I want to talk to you more today about the workshop and the specifics of what we're going to be doing. The phone number that you can call from the U.S. is 718-577-2975. 718-577-2975. Dial 1, speak to Aaron. He's at his desk right now. He can sign you up on the spot. Or he can send you information. This webinar that we're kicking off on Sunday, November 4th, is going to go for 10 consecutive Sundays. It's going to be a 2-hour class. We'll take a little break in between. But this is going to teach us how to connect to our Creator all the time, which we need to. We need to in order to be happy, in order to not have stress, in order to be able to focus, in order to be able to have healthy human relationships, to parent, to have healthy marriages, to be able to actualize our potential and our strengths as human beings. The only way is to plug in to the one who created you. Okay, it takes a little bit of humility to admit that I'm a creation, I'm not a creator. And that although he gives us independent existence, so to speak, we're really tied to him. And our success really depends on him. You know, we all know people that are very smart and very talented and have all kinds of degrees and all kinds of unbelievable gifts. And yet, they're not happy, or they're not able to use their gifts, or they're not productive, right? People who are extremely intelligent and know everything about business and marketing and so on, and can't make a living. And yet there are people that aren't so intelligent, that don't seem to have so many gifts, and they're making tons and tons of money, and they're making it quickly. How is that, right? It's because God determines these things. Most of the basic things in our lives, if we really truthful, we don't determine. And I'm not just talking about the weather or the economy. We obviously don't determine those things. But we don't determine basic things like the parents that we were born with to, the family that you grew up in. How many brothers, how many sisters do you have? Who determined that? Who made that decision, right? Whether a person's rich, whether a person's poor, who made that decision? Whether a person is sickly or whether a person is healthy, who made that decision? You have people that are exercising all the time. They're running and they're lifting weights and they're not healthy. They're eating great food and they're not healthy. Why is that? Why is it some people can eat junk food and smoke cigarettes and they can run 6 kilometers and hardly get out of breath? It's beyond me. The point is that we don't determine these things, right? So if we don't determine these very basic things, how much are we really running our own lives? And the answer is obviously that Hashem is running the world. He's orchestrating everything. And he's eagerly waiting to have a relationship with each one of us, eagerly waiting to listen to the sweet voice of the person who turns to him and speaks to him. Because Emuna means speaking to Hashem. What a shame it is that people go through their whole lives, 70 years, 80 years or more. They believe in the Creator, but they don't have a relationship with the Creator. What a shame that is. Because he's right here, and he's waiting for us to have a relationship with him. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing we have to learn, and we teach this right away in the first class, Sunday we'll be going over this, how to stop, how to pause, how to take that break from the autopilot mode that so many of us are in, and get out of the negativity and be able to make instant contact with him. We stop. We learn to center ourselves and get in synchrony with our Creator. He's right here. And the easiest way to get to synchronize yourself with Hashem, you're going to see once we start this, is through your breathing. Why is that? Because Hashem is breathing us. Hashem is breathing us every second, right? And when we slow down and we allow ourselves to feel how he's breathing us, we're in sync with him. We're in sync with his rhythm. We can get his feeling of his rhythm through our breathing. And then once we can get into that rhythm, that natural rhythm that he chooses for us, then we can center into that and then open that and go in and be that way externally, you know? Because the Kabbalah talks about there's a Hashem inside and there's a Hashem outside. Hashem fills us when we open ourselves to him and let him in. And then, once we're centered and we feel him and we're in sync with him, then we can open up and we can act according to our closeness and being aligned with him. Not only and in terms of his will, in terms of what he wants, in terms of the messages. Once we're open and we're in touch with divine providence, which is watching everything that's going around and seeing Hashem in everything, seeing Hashem, hearing Hashem, feeling Hashem in your moment-to-moment everyday experience, then you hear his voices, you hear his messages, so to speak. Okay? Nobody hears Hashem speaking to them. Not anymore. Not directly. But through hashgacha pratis, through divine providence. How do we, now once you center and you open, you're going to notice right away that you are in the moment. You're living now. Okay? You're living in the moment, okay? You don't need Eastern meditations, you don't need transcendental meditation or any of that stuff to be able to live in the moment, because you're there. Hashem pulls you into the moment. It says, if I am here, everything is here. It says in the Gemara, Hashem says, if I am here, everything is here. So we get into the here very quickly, and once you're in the now, then you can really see what's going on. Then you can really see Hashem. Then you can kick Emuna into action, right? You're not just learning about Emuna intellectually from books. You're living Emuna in your moment-to-moment experiences with Hashem. So we center, we open, then we go through experiential exercises, and we learn to say, everything that I'm seeing right now is you, Hashem. Everything that I'm seeing right now is coming from you, Hashem. Everything that I'm hearing right now is coming from you, Hashem. Everything I'm feeling right now is coming from you, Hashem. You can try this on your own. Take a minute, stop, and just become aware of 3 things that you see. 3 separate things that you see. I see the chairs, I see the lights, I see the wall. Now, become aware of 3 things that you can hear in this moment. It brings you right into the moment. Okay, I can hear the sound of my own voice. If you're quiet, you can hear the sound of your own breathing or your own heartbeat. Or I might hear the sound of a car beeping in the distance. Then I cycle into feelings. 3 things that you can feel. Well, you might be able to feel your body sitting in the chair. You might be able to feel your feet making contact with the ground. You might be able to feel a certain emotion inside yourself. And then you cycle back to 2 things you can see, and 2 things you can hear, and 2 things you can feel, and then 1 thing you can see, and 1 thing you can hear, and 1 thing you can feel. And by the time you go through 3, 2, 1, you're in the moment, and you're tuned in. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to make contact with the Creator. Because if we're lost in fantasy, we're lost in negative self-thought, negative self-talk, we're not here. We're not with Him. And if we're not with Him, we can't communicate with Him. We can't be with Him. We can't hear the messages. So that's what we do. We get into the present, and we get close to Hashem, and we feel His presence. And that gives us, that's the way we get the resources that we need to be able to do whatever it is that we have to do today. Whatever the job is, whatever you need, you turn to Hashem for it. If you need confidence, you turn to Hashem for confidence. If you need to be able to concentrate better, you'll learn to talk to Hashem and turn to Him for that, right? If you need to be more grateful and to say thank you more to people, you turn to Hashem. He'll give you that ability. Really, every strength that you need, He already put into you. You just have to be able to connect with Him and bring out those strengths that you need. So we learn to stop, and we learn to connect. Another way to learn to connect with Hashem is by saying, where are you, Hashem? Hashem, where are you? Right? Aye mekom kavado means, where is the place of Hashem's glory? Right? As soon as we ask that question, where are you? Right? We're admitting Hashem loves it, because we're admitting we forgot about him, okay? We forgot about Hashem. That's something we have to do tshuva for. We have to say, okay, I'm sorry, I forgot about Hashem. One of the things we're supposed to do all day long, one of the mitzvahs tamidiyos, the constant commandments, is that we always have to try to think about Hashem. Okay, Hashem knows. We're not all on that level yet that we're going to be thinking about him every single second like Rabbi Shalom Arush does. But if he sees we want to move in that direction, and that our intention is that we really want to be able to think about him all the time, we say, it's nothing wrong to admit, where are you, Hashem? I forgot about you. And as soon as you ask that question, where are you? He's here, because he's not just in heaven. He's not just up there. He's right here. He's right here. Just been waiting for you to ask that question. Where are you? My beloved Creator, where are you? And then all of a sudden, you have him. You have him, and then you can speak to him. Once you're connected with him, and you feel you can speak to him, and we teach you how to, before you talk, we teach you how to feel what you're going to say first. Because talking to Hashem is not the same as talking to a person, right? We have to know for who we stand. We're standing before the Creator of the world, before his throne, so to speak. And we have to have the proper respect and the proper kavod for him. And since he is truth, we only want to speak truth in front of him, right? That's why when people make a shavua, they swear, when the Gemara talks about swearing to something. Ruvain swears that he owed Shimon $100, and he swears on God's name that he paid back that $100. Well, people don't want to speak anything except the truth when they're invoking, especially, they're invoking the name of the Creator. So we get up and we now, since we're centered and we're calm and we're focused and we're relaxed, we can get up and we can speak to him with authenticity. We can speak to him in a genuine way. And the words will begin to flow, and you'll start to feel very, very comfortable speaking to Hashem like he's your father, like he's your beloved father, and he is. He's your father in heaven, and he's your father on earth. And now he's going to move your lips. He's going to help you speak. He's going to, because now you're connected with him. And this is called prayer. Speaking to Hashem is prayer. Prayer and Emuna are actually the same things. Prayer is Emuna in action. Emuna without speech is not really prayer. Thinking about Hashem, believing in Hashem without speaking to Hashem is not an actualization of Emuna. So there are a lot of people today that they talk about Emuna and they lecture about Emuna, but it's really not complete Emuna, because they're talking about Emuna, intellectual Emuna, understanding high concepts maybe about Hashem, learned people, yes, but do these people talk to Hashem every day? Do they spend an hour a day talking to Hashem? Have they cultivated that personal relationship with Hashem? I can tell you many of them have not. And there are plenty of people that say that this is not I don't know how they can say it, but they say it's sort of a waste of time to take out all this time to learn to talk to Hashem, that you should be sitting and learning, just learning from the books about Hashem. And certainly nobody would say that that's not important. It's extremely, exceedingly important to learn the books of Emunah and to learn all of the books of the Torah, to learn everything we need to know, because that gives us more to talk about. And we can talk in a more knowledgeable way to Hashem when we get up before Him. But learning without speaking to Hashem is really such a shame. It's such a shame, and I I talk to a lot of people. As somebody who's been a psychotherapist, licensed in New York, licensed in Israel, practicing for almost 40 years, I've spoken to almost 60,000 people, not including the groups and the seminars and the, webinars and all the things that I've been doing. So many people, religious people, who have gone through the yeshiva system still don't know how to talk to Hashem. They don't have a connection, a relationship with Hashem. And then I'm not just talking about, the boys in yeshiva. I'm talking about the rabbis on the staffs of yeshiva, of these yeshivas. They don't feel comfortable. They haven't found their voice. They haven't found their own voice. And we have 3 prayers a day. We have Shachris, Mincha, Marav, where we're praying from a prayer book. And the words are already there for us. Beautiful words. And some opinions hold that by reciting those words alone, that's enough. But you know what? There are opinions that say that it's not enough, that you also have to speak in a personal way to Hashem. But no matter which opinion you take, the people that speak to Hashem are the happiest people. Take it from me. I'm a therapist almost 40 years. The people that talk to Hashem, that can just speak to Hashem any time of day about anything and discuss everything, go over everything with Hashem, these are the happiest people. They let Hashem in on everything that's going on in their minds, in their lives, in their marriages, in their families. Hashem is their constant companion. They're walking with Hashem and breathing with Hashem. And these are the people that it's smart to emulate, to stick around them, because you'll get an influence from them. Now, being that I'm a psychotherapist, I'm trained to be able to break things down into their component parts and to be able to teach them in a way that people can assimilate them and use them and practice them. And that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be putting everything into starting Sunday. In fact, I want to teach you these skills like centering and opening and the swap technique and many dozens of other techniques. I want to teach them to you so well that you'll be able to teach them, that you'll be able to teach them to your husbands and to your wives and to your children and to your students, right? And to your colleagues and to your neighbors, because this is what it's all about. Spreading the light, right? Spreading Emuna, okay? So we have to understand, first of all, how to get in touch. And that's 718-577-2975. 718 from the U.S. 718-577-2975, extension 1. Ask for Aaron. You don't even have to ask. He picks up always with extension 1. And if you call between 2 and 11 p.m. Israel time, he's always at his desk. Very responsible, very courteous, full of zest, a very friendly person, a person who also lives with Emuna, a person who is very knowledgeable and can tell you everything about not only the webinars, but all of our Emuna coaching services. Aaron can also tell you how you can become a certified Emuna coach. And you can take our training program. You can enroll with us, and you can take our training program, and you can get certified by Rabbi Shalom Arish himself on a diploma. Rabbi Shalom Arish Shlita will sign off on you that you took this training in Emuna coaching, the only training in Emuna coaching that is recognized by Rabbi Shalom Arish, who I think is the father of Emuna in our generation. I mean, let's face it, there weren't a whole lot of books coming out, English books coming out about Emuna until after the Garden of Emuna. Sold millions of copies in I don't know how many languages already. So let's remember where it started. It's the original. He's the original idea and the most undiluted thinker I have ever come across in terms of Emuna and putting it together with psychology. Because he's really not just a rabbi. He's really a master psychologist. You know, you read The Garden of Peace, for example, for men, which is the Rav's book on Shalom Bayit for men. Or you look into his book, Women's Wisdom, which is the book for women on having a good marriage, peaceful marriage. So much psychology in there. Torah psychology. Torah psychology is not the same as secular psychology. Yes, there are some overlaps, but it's very, very different. Much more different than it is the same. For example, the whole concept of what a man is in Torah psychology is very different. The responsibilities of a man, the identity of a man, how a man is different than a woman. You're not going to find these things in secular psychology, in feminist psychology, in any type of psychology. Torah psychology gives us a very clear idea of what a man is, of what a woman is, and how the two of them can interact, can complete each other. Because when they get married, they become one soul, one neshama. A man can't be a woman, and a woman can't be a man. No matter how much people are trying to do that today, it's never going to work. It's a recipe, ultimately, for not being as happy as you could be, okay? So, Rabbi Shalom Arush, Torah psychology, the father of Emunah today, and he's the one that is putting his stamp of approval. He's the one that asked us to develop these programs, these Emunah coaching programs, to make it available. Because Emunah today, learning how to pray, requires breaking it down into small parts. People pick up the book, Forest Fields, right? Rabbi Arush's beautiful, beautiful book on how to speak to the Creator. I mean, a book like this hasn't been written in 1,000 years. And there's not going to be another book like this written for another 1,000 years. And you read the book, and you get an idea of how a holy rabbi talks to God, right? And what it's all about. But it just seems so easy for Rabbi Shalom Arush to speak to God, right? You read the book, and you try it out, and you have some success with it, and then you feel maybe you get some kind of frustration with it also, because you don't feel like you can do it all the time. You don't feel like you can do it every day. You don't feel like you can do it for as long as he recommends. And a lot of people, they give it up. Or they go strong for a while, and then they stop. And that's a shame. Because Rabbi Arush wrote the book not for us to mimic him, right? Your service to Hashem is got to be yours, right? So he wrote it as a guideline for us to learn how to really personalize personal prayer in your own way. And in order to do that, we take the book and we break it down into much smaller chunks than Rabbi Arush has time to do in the book, because then the book would be 1,000 pages instead of 300 pages. But we break it down into tools and skills and strategies. And everybody learns how to be able to personalize these things and use these things in your own way. And this is what it's all about. So, give us a call. We're starting Sunday. It's from the U.S., 718-577-2975, extension 1 Aaron, 2 to 11 p.m. Israel time. You'll have your privacy. You can do it from your home. You can call by phone. You can call by computer. It doesn't really matter. You can see me. If you're calling by phone, you can have video, you can see me. You can chat, you can type in any questions you have to me. We break after every segment, there's question and answers. If you call in by phone or you don't want to be seen, You can disable your video. You don't have to be seen. Nobody has to know who you are. Your questions are coming to me privately. Okay? So that's how it works. It's the easiest thing to connect to Zoom. Zoom is what we use. Zoom, you don't have to download Zoom. It's the easiest thing. You just, when you speak to Aaron, you give him, he's going to ask you for your email address. We're going to send you a link on your email, and all you have to do is click on that link, and we're connected. We're unified, and we can learn together. We can learn together starting Sunday, November 4th, this coming Sunday, 9 a.m. Israel time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11. We're going to try 2-hour sessions. We take a little break in the middle. If you have to miss one morning, don't worry. We're going to record everything. There'll be an audio recording. There'll be a video recording of every class that we give. Really, they're not classes, they're really workshops. Because we're going to be working. We're going to be drilling you. We're going to make sure that you internalize these techniques. We're going to make sure by the end of the class that you've mastered these techniques. And then we're going to give you home practice. We're going to make you accountable. You're going to give you home practice, no grades, no tests. We're not, look, if you do what you can, but we're going to give you suggested home practice every week to be able to go over what we learned that week, the topic, the theme of the week, right? And whether it was serenity and relaxation, or whether it is your identity as a person, or whether it is connecting with Hashem or others, you're going to stay on that, and then we're going to encourage you to start your own personal Emuna journal and to write down your reactions to your home practice and to write down any questions that you have about the home practice and to bring those questions, type them into the chat next week so we can answer your questions. We'll do that every week, God willing. Okay? Remember that Zev Balin does not get 1 penny from anything that the donations that you make to join this webinar, which is $199, right? It comes to $20 per workshop, which is $10 per hour, right? So a psychotherapist with 40 years experience, get about $200 an hour. If I were living in New York, here you're getting we're getting to be together for only $10 an hour, okay? And not 1 penny of that is going to come to me. It's going to go to this yeshiva. It's going to go to the Brez of Israel. And that money is going to be used to print more books, to send rabbis out to talk about Emunah all over the world in all different languages. The tax-deductible donation that you make to join this webinar, the $10 an hour that you're going to pay to spend 20 hours together with me in the privacy of your own home, that money is going to go for good things. That money is going to go to be able to produce more products and services, Emuna products, Emuna services, that are going to be able to go out and help people. And we try to reach out. We reach out to people in prisons. We reach out to people in hospitals. We reach out to people in isolated places of the world where they don't have community. They don't have anyone that they can talk to about Emunah. People who are trying so hard to be able to integrate Emunah into their lives. And they need these services. So you become a partner with us. And once you become a partner with us, then you have Rabbi Shalom Arish praying for you. Every time he steps out into the forest, he's praying for everybody. But of course, he's praying even more for the people who are his students, who turn to him. That's why we learn to makasher ourselves, to connect ourselves to a tzaddik, to a great person, to a great rabbi. Because when you connect yourself to him, to his soul, that means everything that his soul is doing, you are now benefiting from, right? He somehow has you in mind, along with everybody else, when he steps out before Hashem to pray to Hashem. And this is something that you want. This is a tremendous benefit, a tremendous spiritual influence, an influx of spirituality and spiritual abundance that comes into your life and into the life of your loved ones. This is why people make a pidyon nefesh before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, why they give a little bit of money to a rabbi, a big rabbi, because now you're connecting yourself to him and he's praying for you and your family. And ultimately, you're going to become a person who you're probably already praying for other people. But right now, this is what we do. We connect ourselves to great rabbis, right? So I'm going to give you that number one more time. It's 718-577-2975, 718-577-2975. Call us. Call now. Speak to Aaron. He'll sign you up. I hope to see you soon. In the merit of learning Emuna together, we should all soon develop our own potential and unleash the ultimate you, be able to spread Emuna, to be able to see the coming of the true Messiah, the true Mashiach in our days now. See him build the holy temple, the third and final permanent temple down the street here in the old city, right? Ir HaKodesh, Yerushalayim, speedily in our days. Amen.